Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin, Nasdaq and Dixie, as they're all more or less giving us, I suppose, if anything, a subtle edge. So this is the Nasdaq, nice closure yesterday above this area, which, well, quite easily could have been resistance, probably. We could consider it to be resistance still. We don't know the reaction from the pre-market yet, or how this is going to behave throughout the rest of the day. But it's basically done what we kind of expected it to do. Same as the Dixie has done what we expected it to do. But as we stand right now, I mean, Dixie at its first level of support, the 10 exponential, with a potential to break down to the 50 exponential, which about, as of today, because obviously all these moving averages move up bit by bit. As of today, that would be 95.8. So the Dixie could easily continue with this. It's just a consolidation. This is a rally, right? So this is a huge dump. This is a massive rally, all driven from things outside of the chart. So you've got your CPI report, and then you've got your Fed announcement of basically nothing, confirming nothing new, basically. So dump, pump. Nothing to do with the chart, but the fundamentals stay the same. I do expect the Dixie to continue with its rise between now and probably March, really, where we reach up to these upper zones up here, where I think we'll probably stabilise. And not just, we're not going to come crashing straight back down. Over a period of years, we probably will. But this is, I think, where we're going to stabilise, and that'll be around March, because of the rate hike begins in March. So let's have a quick look at, like I say, this is at resistance already. And that's the same deal with Bitcoin at the moment. So Bitcoin has now approached its first, it's surpassed the 10 exponential, which is good. We tried to get a bit of support on it. So far it's worked, but we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is essentially 10 exponential support, center of the Bollinger Band resistance. And then just above there, we've got this super mega resistance trend line, which is what has been the biggest problem for us so far. Massive crunches all the way down to the tune of 20% or more each time, and we've tagged it 3 times so far, 1, 2, 3, and we are coming up quite close to it here. So if it breaks, that's great, and I'm not saying that it has to reject, but while resistances are above us, we have to expect to be rejected from resistances. I mean, that's what we expect. Just like if we're in an uptrend, we do expect to buy the dip on supports. That's what we expect. That's the edge that we choose to use. If you're going by the fact that the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, that is the appropriate way to play a trend. You buy the supports on the moving averages or horizontals, and it pretty much works until the trend comes to an end, right? So that's the same deal here. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and the trend is currently down, and we are approaching mega resistance up here. So this would imply rejection, right? Depending on how nasty that is, we can look at other aspects. And the reason I think it's not likely to be quite so nasty immediately, and I mean like today, tomorrow, over the next few days, is because we do have a confirmed momentum shift on the daily RSI. So we did break out of this downtrend on the RSI, and again, it's nothing like majorly special, but it is relevant. We are we are getting green ticks on our histogram. We're well into the bearish area though, so I mean this could easily just fizzle out. But again, there is a subtle change of momentum shift on this one, but it's not a great deal. Bitcoin is definitely weak, let's face it. I mean, we're looking at 3.5% as of right now. Nasdaq 3.5%. So even when it comes to the two most risky things in the world, mostly being Bitcoin, second to that, traditional markets, tech sector. Tech sector so far is outperforming. Buyers are unwilling to buy Bitcoin at this price, are expecting lower prices, and this is why I say this is the whale territory. This is where I expect, if we break into this zone, this is going to be the major turnaround point. It's basically the 28 to 29,000 to an absolute low of about 18, 20,000, which I think is highly unlikely. So this will be the major turnaround point for all the reasons that I've explained on previous videos. So we were keeping a close eye on the 4-hourly yesterday, weren't we? We were waiting for a potential signal which could generate today. It depends on what the price action is, and we do need to have this cheeky span close above the cloud. If that happens, then shortly after that, and again we're talking 4-hourly, so that signal being generated could take a couple of days maybe, we will be looking for a push up. So when you get these signals, right, with Itchy Clouds, as soon as, let's just say this generates the signal in the next 8 hours, and we get a confirmation of the cheeky span outside the price action like that, just because that instantly happens doesn't mean that we just go, "Way, we got the signal." it does take a little bit of time, and of course signals can fail. But I mean, it's a 4-hourly, so you got to give it at least a few candle bodies. You know, so we could be talking maybe 2, maybe 3 days max for that to either work out or fail. So if we get that, which we could get that today, if we close at this price later on towards the end of the day, or if we pump up above 39,000. Where the top of this cloud is, then that would be a signal generated, and then we would be looking for a big move, basically pushing us up to major levels of resistance. Now, what I was saying yesterday is that we've got this area here, which is your descending trend. We've also got a horizontal, which is for about 41. Now we've also got the 200 exponential, which is coming at about 41. So there's a lot of problems above us. We could slice through them, so that would give us a 5% move if we did it now. It would give us an 8% move. I'm measuring it from the wrong place there. I'm measuring it from it would give us a 3% move to the trend line. It would give us a 6% move to the horizontal and almost a 7% move to the 200 exponential. That's not an enormous move, to be honest with you, but given Bitcoin's general weakness down at these low levels, it wouldn't surprise me if that's all we got. And then from either one of these, we get our rejection. And again, that's what we should expect. So we would expect a pump, then we'd expect a rejection. However, if we broke above all of these and started closing above them, getting supported on either the horizontal or this 200 exponential, getting supported on there, which wouldn't curve up that fast, or just all of them in general, that might be enough to continue up to the upper side of the 40 range, maybe the 46,000, which is the center range where we had a lot of support over here. So all of this is, price action in the waiting. We don't yet have that signal, and that signal is going to play a major role in the drive to these areas, whether we're getting rejected or we close above them. And until we get that signal, we can't really expect a great deal more from this weak little uptrend that we've got, which is more or less just mimicking the overall picture from traditional markets. The Dixie trickling down, the Nasdaq, doing its thing in reverse as expected. And when it comes to altcoins are in a bit of a delicate position as well. So I was talking to somebody on my Telegram yesterday about how altcoins should be taken very carefully here for new entry points, because when we talk about Bitcoin's price, we're more or less referring to Bitcoin mimicking traditional markets between now and when the dollar finds its stable area around March, is what my expectation is, which means another couple of months really of potentially sideways and down, a large range anyway, sideways, up and down. So it could be going all over the place. And with Bitcoin dominance being above the center of this Bollinger Band, which is at the moment, I mean it could break down. It just makes it a lot riskier to enter into altcoins. When I get back later on today, and if I don't do it today, I'll definitely do it tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how we're going to manage some epic altcoin entry points. And the best thing we could hope for would be for altcoins to take a further hit, and then basically go lower and lower and lower, and stay low, because that's where we were able to get in such epic entries around January 2021, and make the significant gains we did from the bottom, when altcoins were unfashionable, extremely oversold, nobody wanted anything to do with them, everyone was touting for Bitcoin, and everyone had forgotten about altcoins, and we managed to flip that to our own benefit. Again, if you want to make some significant gains, you do have to buy low, and the lower the altcoins go, the better it will be. But for the moment, the focus is on Bitcoin, and to be honest with you, outside of Bitcoin, it is more or less a global economic situation with interest rates being raised. And again, I believe most of this is priced in. It's almost all priced in. I think when it comes to March, when the first one takes place, it will be a bit of a non-event. But for the moment, that's what's doing it to everything. You could be looking at Apple, you could be looking at anything. Everything is coming down as a result of the fear in the market, which is reasonable. It's the right state of play, but the narrative is going to be one of buy the rumor, sell the news, or sell the rumor, buy the news, really. So that is the deal. We're the same as yesterday. We're waiting for the 4-hourly signal. Until then, expect continuation of the downtrend, unless, of course, that signal is generated and it breaks us out of the consolidation and then out of the horizontal. And, you know, even on the 4-hourly, getting above that 200 exponential. This is all, you know, very nice positioning for price action if it can get there. But for the moment, we're below all of those. So expect to stay below them. But that signal itself is enough for me to find an appropriate entry point for a long position if I have the time. You know, if I'm not doing a school run, cooking the food, you know, hoovering the stairs and doing all the other things that I generally take up most of my bloody time. Right, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day and take it easy.